and welcome to the Next Canon podcast. My name is Danny Ray, and on this podcast, we are working to recreate and reimagine the theater canon to make it more representative of what it should be and what we want it to be. And also, welcome to Jaye Ware. I'm so excited.
Me too.
Tell the people a little bit about yourself, Jaye.
Well, I'm an author, a playwright, a spoken word artist, a poet. I work in the criminal justice system, but what I do on the side to really make my life more full is to write poetry and to do perform spoken word. I absolutely love it. And within the last year and a half, I've actually started writing plays. And it's always been like in my system that I knew it was there. I knew I could do it. I knew I had it, but life gets in the way, and we know how life gets in the way. It slows us down, it will keep us from realizing our true passion and our gifts. And finally, the door opened wide open, and I stepped in. And now, both my plays that I've written, both are short plays. Both of them have been produced, so I'm just so pumped. Girl,
Woo!
pump it up,
Yes.
up.
We love to hear it.
Yeah,
That's
so
so
I'm a
wonderful.
mom too. That's huge, huge. I'm a
That's
mom.
big. How
Yeah,
old are
that's
your
a big one.
kids?
They're grown,
They're
grown
grown
kids.
children.
And they've moved. One, except for my son, he's like a mama's boy, but it is what it is. But my two girls, one lives in Miami, Florida, is married, and one lives in Texas, and she's
Awesome.
doing phenomenal. So we're something to knock on. They're all doing great. So I'm really happy about that. So that's a little tidbit about me.
That's awesome. So, what was your theater experience like before? Like, what brought you into the theater?
Well, years ago, I used to perform in Black Arts West theater. And even in high school, I always loved theater. You could get on that stage and be someone entirely different than who you are every single day. And you can bring so much energy, and just hearing the applause from people in the audience if you did a good job, hearing the applause from people in the audience, and just doing something that brings you so much joy and excitement and enthusiasm. And there's just something about theater and plays that really do help to fulfill my life. I absolutely love it. And of course, I love watching other people perform too. But just going back, it started in high school, and I was certainly in the theater program at high school, and then that kind of went into college life as well.
That's fantastic.
Mhm.
So what does your brain think of when you think of the word canon? Like, what does that mean to you?
Well, of course, it might mean something slightly different from one person to the next, but I also, I forgot to add that I write children's stories and poetry and prose. So that with children reminds me of canon, because when it comes to
Mm.
children, it has to be really lighthearted and fun and repetitive. So
Mhm.
there's a style to it. And when it comes to canon, it's a certain format, a certain style, a type of rule. But for me, canons, they kind of put you in a box. I mean, it has to be, in order for it to be Greek, it has to be written a certain way, it has to be performed a certain way. But the same thing with canons with children, in order for them to be able to remember a particular piece, whether it's a song or whether it's a story, it's almost like sing-songy style type. So that to me is a canon. There's a certain rule to it, a certain style, and in some cases it's authoritative, and that's kind of like a problem for me. It's the rule of thumb. You can't do it, it won't sound like it won't be accepted, it won't be okay, it won't be all right if it doesn't follow that specific rule of thumb. That to me is a canon. And for me, sometimes canons really do restrict you and confine you, which is for me can be kind of problematic.
100%. It's so interesting because you'll find like shows that have broken the mold that are super popular, and we're like, let's make that canon, let's do that instead.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. In talking about breaking the mold, oh my gosh, did Hamilton break a mold? Mm-hmm. Hamilton broke the mold. Remember, not only did they break that mold, they made their own mold.
They sure did.
It's just, yes. So, this is where, with canons, I think about, using this type of voice and, darling, and that just simply does not fit the canon that we're looking for. You just simply, this is lovely. It's quite lovely, but
Like the importance of being earnest. Like,
exactly. But with Hamilton, they're like, forget that. Forget that. And it's so diverse. And because it was so original and refreshing and unique and different, that, people were extremely inspired and uplifted and spent way too much money to see it in my mind.
thank goodness it's on Disney Plus. Thank goodness.
Yeah, yeah. But with my income, I could not see it live.
I think something is
Yeah,
so cool about Hamilton is that they also really took the time to think about what would bring everyone together.
yeah, exactly. I
From the
100 and
storyline to the casting, like,
I agree with you. And it it was just so refreshing. It wasn't something that had been redone and reheated and rehashed over and over and over again. It was truly refreshing and original and different and diverse and inspiring and uplifting. Girl, I feel like dancing. And uplifting. Exactly. From the voices. Who has those voices to the dancing and the costumes? Oh, I mean, Hamilton made me almost cry because it was so far outside the box.
right.
And the reason it pulled in such a wide variety of audiences is because it resonated with such a wide variety of audiences, and they were willing to pluck down big money and names like Obama's, you know, were desperate to see that play. So, I mean, we got to move away from the same old, same old, same old,
Right.
because it just doesn't resonate. It doesn't work with real people anymore. It certainly resonates with the regular, standard, everyday theater goers, but it doesn't bring us all in.
Mm-hmm.
And life is changing, and
Yeah.
theater should be for everyone, no matter what the production is. It should be for everyone. And
Yes.
while I'm on this, everyone, and children, um, you would think she probably don't like opera. She probably don't know nothing about opera. She probably does not watch opera. Oh yes, I do. I go to the opera, and this is how I go to the opera. The very, very last time they're on the stage before it is given to a paying audience, the very last time they are rehearsing, the price is down.
I
They want,
love the night before
mhm.
rehearsals.
Girl, you know about it? You know
Yes.
about it?
Oh,
Hmm.
student actor from I graduated a few years ago. Oh yeah, we went to the rep before things opened.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I'm so happy to hear you say that because I was working with children of color. And girl, I took those children to the opera.
Yes, you
But what
did.
we would do, we would talk about it in advance. And we would compare what was going to happen in this opera with their everyday life, their everyday experiences, and how it applies. And the boys and the girls loved it
Yeah.
because we talked about it in advance and they knew how it related. And so they would be on their seats.
Yes. Yes. Well, that's the thing is like when you go and you don't understand what's going on, you don't know even how much you could resonate with it. Even in a
Yes.
play where they're speaking English or Shakespeare. Oh my Lord, Shakespeare. Like you sometimes you can walk into a Shakespeare and have no idea what's happening for
Yeah.
the entirety of the thing
Right.
because they're doing the thing. They're doing the thing. They're doing their ba 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 ba, their prose, they're doing it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make sense unless the actors are helping you figure
Yes.
out how it relates.
Exactly.
And so
I
I think that's
totally
so
agree.
awesome that you were like talking them through it beforehand so that they know what to look for. Oh,
Exactly.
that's amazing.
It's lovely. I'm missing it. I'm really
Oh my God.
missing it. Oh my gosh, they love Porky and Bess. That's the one they were like, they loved it. So
That's amazing.
anyway, yeah, I love doing that. And I love teaching. I love exposing kids to theater in ways that they never would have imagined. It would not have crossed their minds. And
Right.
and thinking that opera is not for African American children or African Americans, but nope, yes it is. Yes it is. And let me show you how. So anyway, I just thought I'd drop that gem
Oh,
on you about what I did, and to know that you did the same thing last rehearsal, girl. We know how to save our pennies.
seriously. Yeah, exactly. It's so funny. You have to. You got to save them up because like if you're wasting all your money to go see that theater, not that we don't want to pay actors and artists and all of the people to do the thing, but you got to see if you want to see everything, that's a big old penny. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
it is.
Especially for students and like people who aren't, the white 65-year-olds that go to most shows all the time.
Which
I
I'm
walk,
good with. I'm okay
yeah.
with. I don't have a problem with, but I'm bringing in the children. And so that
Yes.
was going to cost a pretty penny. So, I'm bringing in the children. So when they get older, perhaps they are so interested and so enamored by it, so moved, so touched that now they're the older crowd that's
Yeah.
paying the extra money to pay the
Yeah.
actors. Yeah.
So, in the spirit of creating something new and fresh and refreshing, what is your show that's got to go? Like, what doesn't fit anymore?
To me, and I'm only speaking for myself, I just don't want to see shows over and over again ad nauseum that have been rehashed and rewarmed and redone, and it comes back every year or every other year. You, for me, that is so problematic. I just don't want to see it. But other people are so excited and enthusiastic that it's coming back again. They need to see it again. But what when that happens, that leaves out a really unique perspective from other writers, whether they're writing theater or writing musicals. They're being left out of the theatrical opportunities. And so that's just, I just don't, when I see something once or twice, except for Wizard of Oz on TV, I like seeing, I just love the Wizard of Oz. I watch that over and over and over again, expecting, a different outcome, and there's never a different outcome. Um, but for me to go to the theater, I just don't want to see the same shows over and over again because I know there are other playwrights out there. I know there's other perspectives. There's other diverse ways of looking at things, and that theaters, even though they're not owned by people of color, it is what it is. You own what you own. You can't make anyone do anything other than what they choose to do regarding their property, their theater, their productions. But you can suggest, and you can give examples of when this happens, how incredibly enriching it is for everyone. Amazing. Um, just to have theater where you've got all these cultures on stage performing together. It is, to me, so beautiful. And it really must be the norm. It must be the norm, not outside the norm. It must be the norm. So
Right.
that's a problem for me, seeing the same things come to the stage year after year after year and not tapping in to a wide variety of gifts and talents that are waiting to be seen, to be heard, to be performed, waiting for that door to open, waiting for that opportunity.
Yeah. If you had to throw out an example of the ones that you've seen multiple times, like what comes to mind?
Phantom of the Opera.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I love Phantom of the Opera. It is what it is, but I don't want to see it over and over again. Oliver Twist. Yeah, I'm old
Mm-hmm.
school. Oliver Twist, because I absolutely love. Okay, now see, you got me on a roll.
Yeah, go for it.
Les Miserables. I love those plays, those performances, those operas, those musicals. I love them, but I'm ready for something else now. I've seen them a few times and I'm ready for something different. Of course, I mentioned Porky and Bess. I've seen that a few times. I'm ready for something different. Um, I don't want to see uh, anything anymore ever that has to do with slavery, ever. So I think people are just too diverse in their experiences, in their lives. There's so many other enriching things to share and talk about on stage. And
Hmm.
that's what I look forward to seeing. Um, even though I like Raising the Sun too, but I don't need to see Raising the Sun anymore.
Yeah.
I'm good, but someone else may want to see it. And then as you get to the next generation, as you're pulling them up, then maybe it's time to start pulling them back again.
Yeah, the point of this podcast is never to delete things forever. It's just to shelve things for a bit. Because
Yeah,
like you said, those are all fantastic. Like there's everyone feels different ways about all of those shows, but that's the point of theater. Everyone feels different ways about it. You know what I mean?
Wicked was kind of cute. Wicked was different.
Wicked was cute. Yeah, I like Wicked, but it doesn't refresh me. I loved
Yeah,
it. Loved it. But it's
yeah,
not a refreshing thing, like you were saying. It's not does nothing new except for it's
right,
stunning and beautiful. You know what I
right,
mean?
right. It is beautiful. I'll give credit where credit is due.
Oh, love
No
it.
doubt about that.
So, in wanting to make things like better, bigger, amazing, new, what's your show that you want everyone to know? So, what should be in the canon?
Like like my show.
Not like your show. That'll come later. We'll talk all about your show. But I mean, that could be in the canon too someday. You have a show that you know about that you want everyone to know.
Not out that's being performed now and that's happening and going on that I'm aware of and familiar with, and I'm like, man, this show needs to be in the canon. I mean, this is in the background, this is quiet, this is low profile. I don't have one that I'm familiar with that I'm aware of. I have just been so consumed. I'm so sorry, girl. I have been so consumed with my poetry and my spoken word and various performances and writing plays myself that I just feel guilty. Like it's a guilty pleasure that I have just been so absorbed in what I'm doing that I'm not paying close attention. And maybe the pandemic and COVID has a little bit to do with it, that everything is so virtual. I'm like,
Yeah.
of all these virtual performances that I've just kind of put some of that to the side so that I could really hone in and focus in on what I need to do, what I need to be writing, what I need to performing, what I need to be put. Sounds selfish, but it's so true because this is like last time in my life. It's like I'm like, I need to start pumping it out, pumping it out, pumping it out,
Yeah.
and finding places for it to land. So really, honestly, Danielle, that's what I've been doing. I've been trying to find places for my own stuff to land. And
Yes.
then when things start opening up a little bit wider and people are actually going to be on the stage and folks can slip into the audience even at 25%, maybe I'll take a second look at what's going on.
Yeah, definitely. Well, when you're working with your own work, what do you focus on?
When it comes to spoken word and poetry for adults, I focus on social justice and injustice poetry. There's just so much going on in the world. It's hard for me, even though I've tried to write about butterflies. I mean, I have tried to write about things that were light and airy, to take our mind away from so much stuff. I just finished for the Artists of Color Expo Symposium, which was traditionally performed at the Seattle Center. Artists of Color Expo that have a wide variety of artists of color. So whether you're a print artist, a spoken word artist, a musician, a singer, whatever, You're performing live at the Seattle Center, so now it's virtual. So I just finished my piece for them. So I really had to like put my mind in the right space and place to make sure that I put all of my energy and effort into making sure even that virtual performance was top notch.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Seattle Public Library, I just finished doing an event for them. It's about time. It was part of the Ballard at Large podcast. So I had to really focus in and hone in on that. And so I'm really hard on myself. Um, but I like for people to be hard on themselves. I really do, because I think people should always want to put their very, very best out there. And
Mm-hmm.
so when I do, that means that other things have to be pushed to the wayside. It has to be pushed to the back burner. So kind of like pivoting back to your question, not really focusing in on what's going on, because I really have to narrow my energies and my passion and my effort towards what I'm trying to put out there. I'm also writing, I also submitted a musical idea to a large theater, and I've been thinking about this musical for a couple of years, and I it's like, this has got to now. This is girl, this is going to be outside the box. All everything that I write, people watching it will go, how did she come up with that? Where did she think of that? um, all of my stuff has to have, at minimum, endings that you could never imagine. And so the same thing with this musical that I'm writing, and I'm kind of like putting off because I don't spend my own money. The theater has to pay for it, the producer has to pay for it. So I'm sort of, I know exactly what's going to happen, but I'm slowing it down, waiting for the money. Um, so anyway, so that's what I'm really, really, really working on. And I started in the Seattle Art Museum. So I'm working on that too. So the Seattle Art Museum has an exhibit of Jacob Lawrence's work. Everybody, hold up. Let me put this down. Let me put my hands up. Jacob Lawrence, Jacob Lawrence. Yes. He has an exhibit at the Seattle Art Museum. And so what I'm doing is writing a piece. You go and this is a lot of what I do. I'll go to a gallery. They'll have an event, spoken word. You go, you look at the art, you pick a piece, you write something about it, and then you perform it. So that's what I'm doing for the Seattle Art Museum, Jacob Lawrence. I don't know what else other people are doing.
Yeah, this is such a weird time where we're all sort of trying to do our own thing, but we have very little places to like do it. I'm so stoked that you've had so much stuff happening for you right now, and like you're talking to those big theaters waiting for that money, honey. Like that is a great plan. And yeah, it's so hard because we're all like, what is my art? And we're sitting like alone in our houses with our families. Like,
Exactly,
yeah.
exactly. I'll be up to 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. And you really do. It's a for everyone that's listening, watching, it's a grind. It really is a grind. And you honestly, not only are you supporting other artists when and where and on different circumstances when you can, but if it is in your heart to write poetry, to write plays, to perform, whatever your artistry is, do not let it rest. Do not let it collect dust. You must get yourself out there. Keep going. Google this, what's happening, pay attention to what's coming up, see where you can squeeze yourself in, and just make sure you, even in times like these, feel relevant. You feel like you are adding value. You feel like you are making a difference. And that's always important to me. I have to feel like whatever I do, it adds value not only for me, but I'm trying to add value to someone else, to encourage you and to uplift you. I mean, the arts are crucial. I'm saying this, and it's true. The arts are crucial because they really do. The arts inspire you. And I was listening to this performance for free, a musician who is so multi-talented. I'm telling you, this man Austin is so multi-talented. For an entire hour he gave of himself for free. And that's the kind of person where you want to PayPal, you want to Cash App, because people are truly still trying to give of themselves until the opportunity is available for us all to finally get together again. And I hope when we all get together again, shoulder to shoulder, high fiving, hugging, that you have learned something. This is a tough time. Being separated from other people, being not being able to pursue your passion the way you traditionally did is humbling. And I hope people were humbled during this time where you don't take artists for granted anymore. You don't take people for granted anymore. You don't take people's talents for granted anymore. And now you're like, we need to start embracing everyone, embracing everyone. Did I talk that your headset up?
I don't know. We could ask the listeners. They can be like, girl, yes.
I don't hear it. I don't hear it. I had to do it by myself.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's super inspirational. So that's why I was just letting you go, because I was like, someone needs to hear this as much as I do. You know what I mean? So just letting you take that, because that's why I'm here. That's literally why I'm here. I want that. I want that effect. And I want to hear stories from people, and I love your story, and that you are just grinding it out right now. And like, being an artist is hard in a way,
Yes,
because you drain yourself doing the thing you love the most.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And you've had the courage, and everyone who's an artist has had the courage to say, no, I'm not going to do the thing I'm not going to do the thing that I know is going to help me, because it's not going to help my heart and my soul as much as this other thing. And maybe sometimes you do it for a bit, and then you just are like, I have to come back to my art,
Totally. Feed yourself.
Seriously, 100%.
You have to feed yourself. You need a roof over your head. You need to wear some clothes when you go out in the street. So, I mean, there are things
debatable. No, I'm just kidding.
Go to the nudist beach, girl. That's what you got to do. Okay. But please. Oh, I guess there are times that I've seen people riding their bike. I'm not going to say what the event was, riding their bike down the street.
Oh, girl, they do that every year. It's a tradition.
Okay. All right, then.
It's in Fremont, everyone. If you wanted to see naked people who paint their bodies sometimes going on bikes, it's in Fremont. I do not remember what it's called.
Solstice.
Oh, yes, on Solstice.
But since you already know, I'll call it out. But I was letting you fill it all in. That's fine with me. But no, yes, you have to do what you have to do to take care of yourself. Absolutely. But part of that taking care of yourself, if you're an artist, is doing what you love. It's just, it brings you so much joy, and it is incredibly fulfilling. And you do have to be around people. I mean, there are going to be producers, they're going to be directors, that are like, as I mentioned before, they don't, well, maybe they get it in their own way. People get things in their own way, but they may not get what you are offering, what you're offering. It is what it is. Move on. And I was telling Danielle, it took me a while to get to that point. Amanda Gorman, clearly, it has not taken her a while to get to that point. That girl is off and running at such a young age. She is so good. Nikki, I'm sorry. Maya, I'm sorry. Amanda, come on in. So, yeah.
She's literally so cool. I was watching that and I was just like,
who does that at her age? Who does that? But what I'm saying is that, you don't compare yourself to someone else. And it's so easy to say, man, they're so good, I'm not that good. Oh, they're so great, I'm not that great. Oh, they can do this and I can't. Mm-mm. You are your own gift to the world. And what you do with someone else that you're not jealous of, you're not envious of, you admire. There is zero wrong with admiring someone else's gift, no matter what it is. I know this kind of focuses on the theater, and now I'm gonna go back and tell you, when I used to act in college, there were some women who I thought, I can't, I can't let go of myself like that. I'm still too reserved. I was very reserved. Um, and the way they were able to let go of themselves in different scenes and as different characters made my jaw drop to my knees because couldn't. I just couldn't. But I admired them. And so what you need to do is admire people, and you have to decide where you fit in. And you need to take where you fit in and give it the gusto. You need to give it all you got. Be good with it, be happy with it, be satisfied with it, and you are now your true, authentic self. You're not trying to be person A, you're not trying to be person B, because their gifts are their gifts. You're being wholly, completely, and totally you. And then people will gravitate towards you. Producers, directors will gravitate towards you because it's the hardest thing trying to give people what you think they want, what you believe they want, what you hope they want, but it's not coming from a true, authentic place.
Mic drop. We are getting some inspiration this morning on the podcast.
I hope so. I hope so.
No, this has been so amazing and wonderful. I am so grateful that you wanted to come in and chat with me about all of this stuff. And yeah, do you have any other like things that you wanted to shout out or promote or talk about before we say goodbye for today?
What happened?
I
It's
know.
about time to say goodbye.
I know, isn't that crazy? We got time. We got time. We're not cutting it too close, but we're good.
You know, I hear this term a lot. Shoot your shot. It sounds so crazy coming out of my mouth. Shoot your shot. But it's so true. It's like if the door and the opportunity is open and someone says what you just did in your own way, shoot your shot. I'm going to go ahead and do it. And, don't be shy about promoting yourself. Go ahead and say it. If they've said say it, you can say it in a humble, respectful way about I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm involved with this, I'm involved with that. I'd love for you to support this. I'd love for you to come back, give the days, give the time, but give your shout out and your love to the ones that got you to that point. With that being said, I'm going to give my shout out and my love to the African American Writers Alliance. The African American Writers Alliance has been around for over 26 years in the Seattle, sometimes greater Seattle area. There are authors and poets and playwrights and musicians and singers and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So when I got started, it was a friend of mine several years ago who was a performer, did spoken word. And again, I was enamored with her. And finally, she said, girl, you need to write your own stuff. You need to write your own stuff. And sometimes you need someone that's going to be the wind beneath your wings. Somebody's going to elevate you, lift you up, get you going, get you started. And she did. It was like, what did you write? What did you write? I'm working. What did you write? And finally, it's like 2 in the morning. I woke up and it was there. I was writing, and it just propelled me. Well, this person passed away on the same day that I mean, really almost the same time that the Seahawks were winning the Super Bowl. She was passing away, and don't feel sad about it. It's okay. She was ready. She knew it was going to happen. But it was just a surreal moment. And I could have been like, I don't have her wind anymore. I can't get over that hump anymore. I don't have a cheerleader anymore. I don't have anyone that's going to pump me up and keep me going. Well, I thought, what would she want? What would she want? She would want me to keep going. And so I found the African American Writers Alliance. And if she had not passed away, this is so true. I love you, Linda. If she had not passed away, I would have just been with her, just with her, just with her. I would not have spread my wings. And by being with them, they will critique you. I was pitiful, you guys. I would tell you, I was pitiful in terms of my writing. But by listening and watching other spoken word artists, other poets, I started finding my voice and rhythm, and I have not been able to let it go since. So, shout out to the African American Writers Alliance. But in addition to that, they also bring in work. They bring in work. I will be at the Seattle Art Museum because of the African American Writers Alliance. We have performed on Orcas Island, Camano Island, Vashon Island. And let me tell you, we needed to be over there, okay? So we did. We needed to be over there. So, they're a great organization. Now, there's also playwrights. Well, one playwright that's part of the alliance. And she said a couple years ago, if any of you are interested in writing plays, I'm going to be producing 6 plays, short plays, so from 6 of you. If you're interested, submit your stuff. Ding, 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 light bulb, light bulb, light bulb, light bulb. Was that also part of my being? Did I have stuff sitting on the shelf collecting dust? Because I thought, who do I send it to? Who would want it? Who would be interested? You guys, I wrote like nobody's business, and my piece was selected. And it's called, here we go. And let me give her a shout out. So this is through the Mahogany Project. Mahogany Project. The director of the Mahogany Project is a Mary, Merri, and Osborne. Marianne Osborne. My play, Madison Park Bench, done, ready to be performed at the University of Washington as a staged reading through the African American Writers Alliance, thanks to a playwright who is a member, Marianne Osborne. COVID. COVID. What we gonna do now? So the other, wait, you guys. Do we have time?
We have all the time in the world,
girl, because I got some stuff to share.
Go for
it. So we got COVID, and then this is the Mahogany Project paid for everything. They paid for the playwright, they paid for the actor, they paid for the production. It was a dream come true. Then COVID hit. Now, we all had our own director. And of course, I knew nothing. I just knew I liked my play. And I just wanted whoever was going to be reading it to read it the right way. Yeah, so as a playwright, they kind of tell you, okay, you wrote the play, sit back and just let the rest happen. I'm like, no, I got to be involved a little bit. Mm-hmm. So anyway, fortunately, my director said, this is what we can do. If you find the location, meaning me, if you find the location, it's called Madison Park Bench. We will film yours as a reading on location. Did you guys hear me? My director said, if you find the location, we will film it. It will not be via Zoom. We will film it.
Yes.
Did the heavens rain down goodness and grace on me? And so, who did I have? Don't burn your bridges. Don't burn your bridges. I'm with a different employer now, but my previous employer lived on the water. Had I kept in touch with my previous employer? Oh, yes, I did. Hello? Now this is COVID. Hello. I just want to know how you doing. How you doing? This is what I'm doing. I've been writing, blah, blah, blah. Um, can 9 people come over? Yeah, sure, they can come over. She let strangers that I knew, and you had to go through a gate to get to her place. She let because she knew me, she trusted me. I've been to her house many times. Her and her husband on vacation. I'm taking care of them cats. I'm reliable. I'm dependable. I'm honest. I go in, do what I need to do, leave, lock the door. She's not missing anything. She trusts me. Here we go. It was done. Madison Park. Made me cry. Madison Park Bench was filmed on location. So after that, I thought, oh, I got to keep going. I got to keep going. And the director said, you know what? 18th and Union, they're looking for pandemic plays, a short pandemic play. You got like, submit something. You got like 2 weeks. 2 weeks. We've all been there. You got a deadline. You know what it is? It's like, can you get down here in 15 minutes to audition? 15 minutes? I live an hour away. Girl, you found a way to fly. Found a way to fly. So I wrote it. Unfortunately, they didn't need it from beginning to end. They just needed, some idea of what you're planning to write about. And so I just thought. And you only got one or two people. That's all you get. So I thought, oh, that makes it easy. 1 or 2 people. What could 1 or 2 people be doing? What could 1 or 2 people be talking about? What could be happening with 1 or 2 people? I came up with it. 2 students in a classroom. And I had just seen Hamilton. Disney. I had just seen Hamilton. So I'm like, I'm doing a hip hop play. I'm doing a hip hop pandemic play. And can I write hip hop? Do I look like I write hip hop? No. Don't burn your bridges. Know people. Make connections. There's a hip hop artist, CJ Dudley. Okay, I'm throwing his name out there. CJ Dudley. All you have to do is Google CJ Dudley and he pops up magically. This man is so gifted. He's a hip hop artist, he's a spoken word artist, he's a poet, he's a clothing designer, he's a dancer, he's a singer, and when I say he's a singer, oh my God, that's what I'm talking about. He can sing.
Yes.
And he's a pianist. And I think he plays other instruments as well. He's multi-talented. And so a lot of times when I'm doing things or something's coming up, I'll be like, CJ, well, actually, I send him an IM or email him. CJ, I'm doing this. I'd love for you to get involved. Do you mind? So there we did. He wrote the music for my hip hop pandemic play. He wrote it. It's all original stuff. So don't try to steal it because he's already protected it. I just want to let you know that. So COVID Dreams is about 2 students waiting in a classroom for their professor, another surprise ending. Even with Madison Park Bench, my very first one, it's a surprise ending. It's like almost a tearjerker, almost. So anyway, COVID Dreams, he wrote the music. We've done that all over. So that's kind of what I want to get out there in terms of what I'm doing besides all of my spoken word. I saw where a major theater in Seattle was looking for musicals by BIPOC population, and of course I remember my musical, and I'll tell you a little bit about it. Um, it is an urban play, but it's loosely based on Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Loosely, but it is an ending. You'll be like, oh my God, how did she think of that? How did she come up with that? Because that's what's important to me. My endings must catch you off guard.
Well, I'm so thankful that you came and chatted with me. It's been
Me
such a lovely, lovely
too.
session. You've
Um,
inspired me, and I'm sure you've inspired countless people listening.
um,
Just your stories of like perseverance and just really getting at it and doing the thing that you love to do is so amazing. My last sneaky question that I don't warn anyone about is who
Girl,
would
you wrong. You wrong. Okay, go. What is it? What is it?
the it's who would you like to see on this podcast?
Oh, okay. Um, Let me ask. May I ask a question in response
Sure,
to your question?
of course you may.
So, the person that I'd like to see on the podcast depends on what you're looking for, the type of person you're interested in, what you want to focus on, what you
Yeah.
want your audience to hear, and then I'll throw out a name. Why you answer that question?
What
I'm
an
gonna think it.
interesting question.
I'm getting ready to think it through while you're thinking
Yeah.
about that.
So I am dedicated to centering the voices of Black and people of color, BIPOC, um, artists, actors, dancers, spoken word poets, as well as people in the queer community, and people of different backgrounds, gender identities, all of those things. Pretty much all the stories that we don't get to hear as often as the basic, like every other year we get the same story as you were talking about earlier. I love focusing perspectives that don't get seen as often and just deserve to be seen, so I want all of them to be those people.
All right, then I'm gonna give you a name. The reason I'm gonna give you this person's name is that she's one of the founding members of the African American Writers Alliance. And I mean, I would say Marianne, I really would say Marianne Osborne.
You can say two names. There's no
Yay!
rules here, remember?
Good, good. I'm going to say Marianne Osborne, and then I'm going to say someone else. The reason I'm throwing her name out is because she is just so gifted and talented as a member of the African American Writers Alliance, and she is in theater because she's so different. She's a different type of person in my mind. What floats her boat, what interests her, what she's like, and also because she got us the six playwrights started, and she really got me on a roll. I want her on this podcast. You would love her. She knows theater inside out. She was the director for my play, COVID Dreams. So I really want this sister on your podcast. The other person, because the name Shakespeare came up, this person lives by Shakespeare. She has gone to the Shakespeare Festival in Oregon probably every year for the last 50 years. Now, that's a slight exaggeration, but at least 25. This is true story. And she is one of the founding members of the African American Writers Alliance, and that is Dr. Georgia Mickadade. She will, you know how I'm trying to talk your ear off, Danielle?
I
She
love
will,
it.
she will talk your ear off. But she is, when I say that, I don't mean it in a mean spirited way. I mean, her brain is full of so much history. Her brain is. And she can't get it all down. She can't write it all down. She can't share it all as spoken word pieces. She has so much to share. And what she would provide your audience is absolutely invaluable. There it is.
There it
Oops.
is.
Thank you, Danielle.
Thank you so much for being a guest on the Next Canon podcast. And thank you to everyone out there listening. I hope that you took something wonderful away from this hour, just like I did. Um, give us like a stars. I don't know. Give us some 5 stars out here in the podcast. Follow
Something.
us. Something. Whatever the thing is you're supposed to do. Go ahead and do it. And I hope you have a wonderful week. We will see you next time. Goodbye.